More reason, then, he should protect a king pursued by Parliament. The Queen shook her head despairingly. "If I judge for myself, my lord," she said, "the cardinal will do nothing, and will even, perhaps, act against us. The presence of my daughter and myself in France is already irksome to him, much more so would be that of the king. My lord," added Henrietta, with a melancholy smile, "it is sad and almost shameful to be obliged to say that we have passed the winter in the Louvre without money, without linen, almost without bread, and often not rising from bed because we wanted fire. Courage, madame, courage. Do not despair. The interests of the French crown, endangered at this moment, are to discountenance rebellion in a neighbouring nation. Mazarin, as a statesman, will understand the politic necessity. Are you sure," said the queen doubtfully, "that you have not been forestalled?" "By whom?" "By the Joyce, the Prynnes, the Cromwells, by a tailor, a coachmaker, a brewer. Ah, I hope, madame, that the cardinal will not enter into negotiations with such men." "Ah, what is he himself?" asked Madame Henrietta. "But for the honour of the king of the queen." "Well, let us hope he will do something for the sake of their honour," said the queen. "A true friend's eloquence is so powerful, my lord, that you have reassured me. Give me your hand and let us go to the minister. And yet," she added, "suppose he should refuse, and that the king loses the battle. His Majesty will then take refuge in Holland, where I hear his Highness the Prince of Wales now is, and can his Majesty count upon many such subjects as yourself for his flight?" "Alas, no, madame," answered De Winter, "but the case is provided for, and I am come to France to seek allies." "Allies," said the queen, shaking her head. "Madame," replied De Winter, "provided I can find some of my good old friends of former times, I will answer for anything." "Come then, my lord," said the queen, with the painful doubt that is felt by those who have suffered much. "Come, and may heaven hear you." Chapter XXXVII. Cromwell's letter. At the very moment when the queen quitted the convent to go to the Palais Royal, a young man dismounted at the gate of this royal abode and announced to the guards that he had something of importance to communicate to Cardinal Mazarin. Although the cardinal was often tormented by fear, he was more often in need of counsel and information, and he was therefore sufficiently accessible. The true difficulty of being admitted was not to be found at the first door, and even the second was passed easily enough. Besides the guard and the doorkeepers, the faithful Bernouin, a Cerberus whom no speech could soften, no wand, even of gold, could charm. It was therefore at the third door that those who solicited, or were bidden to an audience, underwent their formal interrogatory. The young man, having left his horse tied to the gate in the court, mounted the great staircase and addressed the guard in the first chamber. "Cardinal Mazarin," said he. "Pass on," replied the guard. The cavalier entered the second hall, which was guarded by the musketeers and doorkeepers. "Have you a letter of audience?" asked a porter, advancing to the new arrival. "I have one, but not one from Cardinal Mazarin." "Enter, and ask for Monsieur Bernouin," said the porter, opening the door of the third room. Whether he only held his usual post, or whether it was by accident, Monsieur Bernouin was found standing behind the door, and must have heard all that had passed. "You seek me, sir," said he. "From whom may the letter be you bear to his eminence?" "From General Oliver Cromwell," said the newcomer. "Be so good as to mention this name to his eminence, and to bring me word whether he will receive me, yes or no." Saying which, he resumed the proud and sombre bearing peculiar at that time to Puritans. Bernouin cast an inquisitorial glance at the person of the young man, and entered the cabinet of the cardinal, to whom he transmitted the messenger's words. "A man bringing a letter from Oliver Cromwell, said Mazarin. "And what kind of a man?" "A genuine Englishman, your Eminence. Hair sandy red, more red than sandy, grey blue, eyes more grey than blue, and for the rest, stiff and proud, let him give in his letter." "His Eminence asks for the letter," said Bernouin, passing back into the antechamber. "His Eminence cannot see the letter without the bearer of it," replied the young man; "but to convince you that I am really the bearer of a letter, see, here it is, and kindly add," continued he, "that I am not a simple messenger, but an envoy extraordinary